Hey guys, I'm here with Luke Molver from Molver Comics. I met him about 2 years ago at FanCon Cape Town, and I remember seeing his work, and I promised him since that first time that I met him, I'm going to buy his set of Sunday Slave horror comics. This year I finally managed to buy a set, but I'm also interviewing him because he doesn't have a choice. So
Trapped.
Yep, trapped. But so Luke, please tell us a bit where you're from, what do you do?
I'm from Durban, born and bred. I still live there. I'm trained as a fine artist and a graphic designer, but my true passion is comic books and storytelling. It's great to be here at Comic-Con. I think these conventions like Comic-Con and a variety of others across the country are really important for the local industry, for us to come together, see what's out there, network, Personally, it's a pure love of comics, and I think you find with a lot of artists here, these are labors of love. We've got day jobs, we pay the rent, but by other means. But there's so much creativity, so much talent, and so much passion in this country, and it's great to see it all in one place.
So. Okay, cool. So, during your career in building up your style and finding your own voice, what would you say has been your biggest influences to developing your unique persona in your artwork?
I think, firstly and probably most obviously, reading comics. I've always read comics. I started with sort of Marvel and DC, the usual superhero stuff, but it was really when I discovered 2000 AD, Judge Dredd, British comics, French comics like heavy metal, more sci-fi oriented stuff that I really I saw what I wanted to do. So those are big influences on my own work. I work in a variety of genres, from science fiction to horror to historical fiction. But I think influence comes from everywhere. The world around us is a wonderful and frightening place, and it's full of possibility, opportunity, and inspiration. But it's not for the timid. I'm inspired by cinema. I think comic books and cinema share a lot in common, although they are ultimately different mediums. I think that's also seen in the Hollywood's constant adaptation of comic book works. I'm inspired by music. One of my more recent comics is based around the myth of Robert Johnson, the blues musician who made a deal with the devil. So the blues is a heavy influence into my work. I listen to a lot of hip-hop, a lot of metal. I think my tastes across all media, whether it be comics, cinema, music, they are quite eclectic, and I think that all comes together to create, I like to think, quite a unique style that I am continuing to develop.
That's pretty cool. It reminds me of where I heard a piece of advice once where it says, if you need to copy someone for a while to learn their style, to find your own voice, it's fine, as long as you learn.
Absolutely. I mean, I spent my youth tracing superheroes and, redrawing action sequences. And you develop your own style, because I was looking at a lot of different artists. Here in South Africa, there's very little, if any, formal training for sort of the comic book art. We've got fine art, we've got graphic design, but it's almost like a trial and error for all of us, and I think you'll find it similar to similar situation with most of the artists here. We are in many ways self-taught through experimentation and just checking out what others have been doing to develop quite unique styles.
Okay, cool. Then a little bit of a deeper question. What would you say has been your biggest obstacle or fear when creating your art or your art career itself, and how did you overcome that obstacle?
Well, a lot of people say, and I've heard this a lot this weekend, from artists and writers who say they suffer from a sort of imposter syndrome, like I'm not good enough, I'm never going to be good enough, I'm not at the level I want to be. Personally, I've never felt that. I've always felt this is where I belong, this is what I want to do. I'm not very good at anything else except maybe drawing and writing, so that's where I've chosen to focus my efforts throughout my life. I think practically speaking, the biggest obstacle here in South Africa is infrastructure, larger support for this art form. Comics still have a tendency to be overlooked by mainstream bookstores, by a lot of people as sort of illegitimate literature. Oh, you're into comics, you're a kid, which is totally untrue. Comics are more than superheroes. They're more than Garfield and Archie. Those are all cool, genres of comics, but the possibilities are infinite for the medium, and I would love to see more support from the larger powers, the governments, corporations, to really, because the talent is here, the passion is here, as I've mentioned, but we need management. We need writers have agents, actors have agents. The thespians in theatre have agents. Why don't we, as comic creators and illustrators, why don't we have that? And I can't answer that question, but events like Comic-Con, events like FanCon in Cape Town, where we met. These are very important because they show quite clearly, you look around, the passion is here, the audience is here, people want this stuff. So there just needs to be that little extra step of support from the government, from the money people, really. But yeah, I can't do much else, man. So it's in my blood. I'm going to continue doing it for as long as I can.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, you do what you love. So.
Absolutely.
And
I'm still waiting for a comic from you, sir. It's coming. It's been in the works, but yeah. Getting there one of these days.
Yeah, I'll bring you one when I see you at the next convention. Cool. Then last question, do you have any advice for artists that are looking to start out or looking to get better? People that feel they just need to hear a little bit of encouragement.
Yes, absolutely. I got 3 specific points. Number 1, read comics. Read comics. It seems simple, but if you want to get into comics, read them wherever you can, whatever you're into, whether it be superheroes, manga, funny strips, read them, consume them online, on paper, wherever. Secondly, attend conventions. Attend events, concentrated events where you will meet other creators, you will meet other artists, you can network, you can see what else is out there. It's very important to build this community that we so desperately need. And thirdly, use social media. Social media, particularly like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. The world is a smaller place because of the World Wide Web, because of the internet. And things like Instagram, although not specifically designed for it, their multi-photo feature is actually perfect for comic book paneling. Also, if you can build an awareness of your comic, of your characters, of your brand with no printing overheads, no distribution costs, you can build a fan base essentially before you've printed anything, before you've spent any money on it. And then when you have an awareness of your comic, when you have a brand going with a few well-placed hashtags, come back to the conventions, get a table, and sell. Make no mistake, this is not a millionaire success overnight, so do not be under any illusions that you're going to be a rock star within a week. You got to love it. But if you're watching this, if you're here at Comic-Con, you do love it already, so you're a step in the right direction.
Right, thanks, man. That was a good one.
Thanks a lot, Neil.
Cheers.
Cool.